Okay, so I have missed a couple of guys coming out. I'm gonna get the link to this stream. I'll remove this. Okay, finally in. Yeah, sorry for missing everything. Archie Gill is currently on provisional pole. Marky coming through on the mediums. He's down at 108.5. Very good time. Quickest of the medium runners. There we go. Hello Suzuki. Yeah, they are actually very close to tier 1 pace, as Mr. Hex goes for quickest with a 108.3. I think this track has the similarities to Austria in that sense, where all tiers are pretty close, as it's honestly quite a simple track, but it makes for good racing. And we saw Darluro in Premier Tier having a very good time, so Chaos Druid goes 13th, 111. We'll follow with the Mercedes driver of Tafur. So Tafur coming around to start their lap into the Sun SS. Very easy to invalidate and get subsequent penalties in the race. And this purple down to sector 1. Which is very good to see. And now into the single file. Runs wide, but runs wide enough to not invalidate, which is important. So the Fur now coming up towards the line. It's looking like a very good time. It's gonna be a 1:09.4, 9th place, and spins for good measure. Luckily Tar Heels doesn't get affected. I haven't said it in this stream, but we also have a title fight going on for constructors. We have Alfa Romeo versus the Aston Martins, and I've just noticed there are no Aston Martins. There isn't a single Aston Martin, which means As long as they don't intentionally retire, I think they're gonna get it. As it's only 23 points between them. Which is a shame, for as Cheeseheads gets disqualified for going the wrong way. Probably spun in the Senna S. And the game says, nope, you're going the wrong way. And you get disqualified. As Raleigh is the first driver in the 107s, 107.6. That's a very good time. Half a second almost ahead of Archie. He keeps it on the track. Oh, runs wide, but again goes enough wide to not invalidate. Which is very good. But it's very easy to get penalties there. Rossi in the second sector is way up. Marking down. What can Marky do through the second sector? As Rossi aborted that lap as well. There's a Ferrari standing still off track to keep out of the way of the Red Bull. Coming towards the line. Or will it be P2 1077? It's getting quicker out there. Roman is on out lap. In lap, sorry. Mr. Hex, half a second. And gets a bit of a tow from one of the Ferraris. Mr. Hex goes seconds, 1077 as well. Just ahead of his teammate. Their teammate. Chaos Druid, the second Ferrari. While Baloo in the first Ferrari, they crossed the line, went up to P11. Which is not a bad place to start. You get free shares of tires. The Chaos Druid now coming up towards the DRS line. And comes across the line for P11. Gets ahead of the teammate there. Roman numerals. Go second fastest. We have 3 drivers in a 1077. Which is very, very interesting. As Artigil in the Alfa Romeo. Is coming through the technical part of this slightly oversized go-kart track. Let's force this up. Tafu slightly down on his time. Slight improvement from Tafu. It's probably not gonna be enough tonight, but you never know. Might find a lot of time here in sector 3. Tafu Improves by 10, but stays P10. So we have Rusty on a lap. Also a slight improvement there. Hopefully be across the line for Rusty. Is it gonna be enough for P5? Maybe even more. Rusty does not improve enough. Stays sick. Yes, we now have Tag Delta and Cyprian on outlaps. We'll hop over to Cyprian. Cyprian slightly behind, so slightly slower through the S section there. As Mr. Hex retires. Nope. No, was in the pits. I think we're nearing the end. I joined a bit late, so that timer might not be correct. Probably isn't correct. Cyprian has found 2/10, almost 3/10 through sector 2. Cyprian, will it be enough? We have to go a bit longer, and it's only enough for 8. Tech Delta wants to start on the mediums, is trying. Oh, runs wide. And I've lost too much time. Markiven from P4. Has invalidated. Attack Delta. Chaos Brood. Can they get inside the top 10? They're gonna give it their all. Oh, goes very wide there and invalidates. Nico invalidated. Cyprian is going slow. So we'll go on board with Roman, as Roman is the first across the line of the top 2. And Roman spins it in the SS. And that's not what you want to do. Ralle now. Rusty retires. Also looks to be in the pit. Ralle keeps it on track. Now coming. As you can see, the finishing flag has started falling, which means that I'm about 3 minutes late, which is workable. Ralle now through the very technical part, hopefully. Oh, the Chaos Druid does what it can to get away, to get out of the way, but it's very hard. Slight improvement from Ralle. how much time can Rally find through 63? Keeps the times with the wall. Rally improves 106, 107.6. And Roman doesn't have the time. Chaos is going into the pit. We have a couple people pitting, so that's gonna be it for qualifying. That is it for qualifying. At our left gets pole position in the Alpha Tauri. Does Alpha Tauri have anything to fight for? Here we go then. Ralle Halonen is on pole position and Roman numerals. Mr. Hex gets P3 and Marky, both in the Red Bull, gets P4. Artigal gets P5 and Nico John is P6. The fourth row is Rusty Oil Can and Cyprian Vince. Tech Delta and Tafur rounds off the top 10. Tar Heels, the Chaos Druid, while Baloo and Cheeseheads will all have free choice of tires as they are starting 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th. So then, now we'll have a couple of minutes, and during this time we have had in the press room a couple of questions asked. Let's see if I can find. Here we are. Question number 1 was, we are at the end of our season here in PRL. Did you meet your goal, and did you have a rival? If we look at Tech Delta, Tech Delta's goal was to finish top 5, and Tech Delta saying that while missing a couple of races here and there hasn't helped that goal. I feel a lack of performance was to blame. I've got a trick up my sleeve for next season though, assuming work doesn't interfere. So we'll see about next season for Tech Delta. And Rusty did not have the main goal of winning the championship, or did have a goal of winning the championship, but Ghetto Biggie stopped that, but reached his goal of being top 3. The biggest rivals have been Ghetto Biggie, Mr. Hex and Nico John, according to Rusty. What is 1 or 2 issues you feel need improvement? Actually no. What do you enjoy most about racing with PRL? We have Mr. Hex saying just the overall fun and enjoyment I have. I've never been upset or anything bad towards my friends here. Cheesehead, I enjoy racing guys on my level of competition. PRL is my first league I've ever joined. I like fighting in a real championship with real people and getting to know my teammate for a few months. As cliche as it is, a lot of what I enjoy about PRL is the community. And that was from Tech Delta. We now have a countdown of just 20 seconds before the race starts. But it looks like the season has gone up and down for a couple of people. But the one thing they all have in common is that everyone enjoys racing here in PRL, which we love to see. And here we go then for the formation lap. We'll get Ralle to take us along. And we have one medium runner in the whole field. Tar Heels in PS7 goes on mediums. Everyone else is on the soft tires. The weather report is dry throughout, so we'll see how this strategy pays off. Heating the tires, very important, especially for the guys up front, as Cheeseheads is running a bit behind, which is not something that is too great. Here we have a big gap as well. Marky. Obviously, the rule is 10 car lengths, and that is to ensure that the drivers doesn't have to back up too much. And here we see them coming towards the grid. Hopefully they have done enough to keep the tires from getting cold, as we see a bit of ghosting. And there we go, soft, medium or soft hards, according to the game. Obviously, us in Tier 1 finally had some rain, which is something I enjoy a lot. As we have 5 lights. The lights are off, and the run towards turn 1, Roman numerals, is ahead. And so is Mr. Hex. But Ralle gets it through the second part. And Ralle keeps P1, and now we have almost 3 or 4 wide, as we have a car going very wide. And here we see a big gaggle of cars, and Mr. Hex has taken the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. So, Mr. Hex, what a start. We have Ralle in second, Rusty and Archie Gill swapping places a bit further back. But Ralle lost. Oh, the back end. Ralle lost P1 off the start. Roman lost P2. Here comes the Ferrari of Marky. Isn't quite close enough to make the move. Maybe didn't have the confidence. Roman numerals chasing down Ralle, who's fallen away from Mr. Hex. Mr. Hex already having 1.2 seconds of a gap. As we see Chaos Druid getting past. Attack Delta for P9. And here obviously very hard to make a move. Near on impossible. Mr. Hex is very much doing great. Let's take that up all the way a bit. But yeah, Mr. Hex has done incredible so far. Already 1.7 seconds down to Ralle. As the rest gets enabled. And here the fight. Nico John can't quite get the move done as we have a spinner. Tar Heels. Oof, very close. And Wild Baloo, 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I know too much about that. And Marky picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's gonna be crucial later. But it is quite easy to pick up penalties because it's very easy to run just slightly wide. And this game is very tough when you just run slightly wide. And now then, we see the run towards the Zenith. Roman has got ahead of Ralle. The Red Bull of Marky isn't quite close enough. But now, the run down to what I guess is turn 4. And Marky gets ahead of Ralle. So Ralle hasn't had the best start to this Grand Prix, but it is 36 laps, so you have to keep patience as Ralle also picks up a 3-second time penalty. Pushing hard at the start here as we have a Ferrari around. Wild Baloo is around and looks beached and has left session. Don't quite know what's going on there. Now Marky getting very close to Roman numerals. Roman has a loose back end. Roman moves to get out of the slipstream. Marky is right on the gearbox of Roman numerals. And just to mention, Alfa Romeo is doing what's needed from them to win the Constructors' Championship. Their job has been made easier without any Aston Martins attending the race today. Marky now. Ralle very close to Mark as well. Marky gets a great run. And Marky is ahead just for the start finish line. And is ahead into the center S. And we have a safety car as the Ferrari of Wild Baloo and DNFs. So on lap 5 we already have a safety car which invites Tar Heels to come back into the field, which must be so nice for him. And the Chaos Druid puts on the medium tires. This neutralizes the gap Mr. Hex had of around 2 seconds. And now the question is, do they go into the pits? And if so, what do they do? Do you go medium? Do you go hard? Are you gonna be a madman and try the one stop on mediums from lap 6 and do 30 laps? The top guys goes into the pits. But except for Marky and Roman does not go into the pits. Ralle dives into the pits. Archie goes into the pits. Tech Delta goes into the pits. Nico John has gone into the pits. Ethan has gone into the pits. Cyprian has gone into the pits. Tar Heels did not go into the pits. Mr. Hex went into the pits for softs. So we have 4 guys deciding not to pit. Marky, Roman, Rusty, Tafur. I'm actually thinking about it, at least for Rusty, it might have been that Rusty had to go around as you don't want to double stack. Chaos Druid and Tar Heels both go into the pits. Tar Heels gets on the medium tires. Luckily won't get lapped, which means they have a fighting chance. Tafur and Rusty both decide to go into the pits, and Rusty gets a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Hopefully for their sake, it's another safety car later where they can serve that 5 seconds. Currently, if we look at the penalties, Marky has 3 seconds, Ralle has a 3-second penalty, and Rossi and Tafur both have 5-second penalties. As we see the guys catching the safety car, we just have Chaos Druid and Tar Heels coming towards the safety car, and I believe, I'm fairly certain, it won't go into the pits until Druid and Tar Heels. As Druid picks up a 3-second time penalty on the safety car. No. That's not what you want to do. As Delta and Nico passes each other. Yeah, we're just waiting for Chaos Druid and Tar Heels to catch back up to the field. And we can see now that only Marky and Roman decided not to paint, as Nico dives into the pits. Nico John dives into the pits. What has happened? It's a front wing change. No penalty served. It was instant. So I wonder how that happened. Nico John looks to be on a fresh set of tires though. He can obviously stick on the other set of mediums again if Nico wants to do the medium strategy, as they have only gone about a lap on the safety car. But now then, everyone has caught up. I think we're gonna see safety car in this lap very soon. There we have it from race control. Marky Kostic is now in control. And please, no shenanigans. When does he decide to go? He's gone. Oh, and they're getting very close. Way before the start-finish line from Mr. Hex and Roman numerals. And Mr. Hex gets it done. The Red Bulls now 1-2. As Mr. Hex got past Roman numerals in this MS. As Ross is getting very close to Tag Delta. Gonna get past. No. The Archer Guild very close to the other Alpha Tauri of Ralle Hallonen in the fight for fourth. Now the question is, are we gonna see team orders come into play? Will Marky get out of the way from Mr. Hex? Makes it very easy for him indeed. Now we have Archie chasing this Mr. Ralle Hallonen, but he isn't quite close enough. Obviously no DRS. As Archie gets the move done. Ralle hasn't given up yet, but has to give up there, as there's just no space. So the four soft runners are ahead. Ralle is leading the medium runners now, as we see Tafur getting a time penalty. That's down in P8. As we have a spinner, and I go the wrong way. It's the Chaos Druid without a front wing. That's not what we want to see. Now Rusty is getting very close to Tag Delta. Mr. Hex 109. Fastest lap as the DRS gets enabled yet again. But now the Alpha Tauri drivers have to do some teamwork against Rusty Oil Can in the Alpha, as Tag Delta runs very wide, and Rusty says thank you very much and just takes P6. Oh, sorry. So then, Ralle Hallonen has fallen. It's not a race, what to remember so far, but Ralle is on the medium tires, as we see Tag Delta coming straight through. And Rusty is back in 7th as Cyprian gets through Cheeseheads for P9, and Cheeseheads is around. As we have these drivers side by side. We'll take some breaks a bit later, but it's too narrow to do anything this time around. Rusty trying to get as close as possible to Tag Delta. Oh, goes. Comes very close to Tag Delta. Tag Delta has no DRS to defend. Because has fallen out of Ralles DRS, but Rusty wasn't quite close enough. Had to sacrifice the last corner, but here. Ah no, they touch! I think they touch, and Rusty's around. Rusty's around. Did Rusty manage to keep the nose out of the wall? It looks like it. As Cheeseheads goes into the pits after just 6 laps. Puts on the hards. Cheeseheads is done in the pits without anything outside of race control. Yes, Druid and Cheesehead will have a nice fight for P12. As we have Mark and Roman going into the pits. Yes, I don't have any gaps. And Tar Heels retires. And it's another safety car. It just comes out a little too late for Mark and Roman numerals. But it invites Chaos Druid and Cheeseheads. And the car despawns before. But I'm gonna guess that from the track map just lost it through this left kink, which I nearly did on the intermediates when I was using ERS through there, so I definitely know the feeling, Tar Heels, but I'm not 100% sure that is what happened. Mr. Hex stays out, Archigil comes in. Interesting. (16 out of 36), it's 21 laps, and we have a couple of the medium runners coming in again. Tag Delta, for example, has come in, puts on fresh mediums. Nico John is in, Tafur is in. Roman obviously isn't in, Marky obviously isn't in, and they gain a couple of positions back. They're now P6 and 7, Marky and Roman. Raleigh might just be able to go to the end, especially with the safety car pulling a couple of laps off that lap counter. Just 21 laps to go, 20 laps when they cross the start finish line. It's a tall order from those mediums, but if you are kind enough towards your tires, then maybe, just maybe, but you're gonna have to be very, very gentle with the tires. As we have Archigil going into the pits again. Puts on another set of mediums and a new front wing. What has happened there? It's the second time we see someone under safety car having to pit for a new front wing. When they have already pit under safety car. That is very strange. But Archie keeps ahead of Chaos Druid and Cheeseheads. So not everything. And now Marky leaves the session. It's a very, very strange. Very, very strange one. Very, very strange race. Going on here today, as we've done half the race after this lap, and Cheese has comes into the pits, probably to get rid of the hards. And a new front wing again. What is going on? I'm just answering a text, sorry. And Cyprian gets a 5-second time penalty for collision on the safety car. That's not good at all. And I have lost all intervals, but I guess that's fine on the safety car. Hopefully they come back over the start finish straight. And Jesus is close enough that they have decided to release the field. So then, Ralle. Oh, and we have like 5 or 6 cars going side by side, as Mr. Hex just didn't go. And I have a couple of intervals, but I don't have them all. I think something has happened to Nico. There we go, I have all the intervals once again. Marky trying to get around Rusty Oil Can, but it's just not enough room for it to happen. And oh! What happened there? A huge collision! And oh no! The Ferrari collides with the Red Bull, and Marky gets a 5-second time penalty. Everything is going down. And the Roman numerals have a bit of a moment, and in all this, Mr. Hicks is almost 2 seconds away from Ralle again. And Tag Delta is getting close. Roman numerals gets ahead of Chaos Druid. Nico goes into the pits. We saw Nico had a moment at the start of the lap. Jesus goes into the pits. Marky does not go into the pits. And Jesus and Roman obviously goes into the pits as well. That was very, very strange. But a lot of action here today. It's a full has made it all the way to 6th. That's on a great drive. Has been a bit outshone by Mr. Hex. Absolutely dominating here today. But Tafur is only half a second behind TAC Delta. And now DRS gets enabled. Roman numerals gets ahead of Cheeseheads. Down into turn 4. And Tafur. Loses it a bit to the SS. That's the camera I want. Thank you. That's such a stupid camera. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah, Tafur lost it a bit, and Tafur picks up another 3-second time penalty. I think that's 12 or 15? 17 even. So has a 5-second time penalty somewhere, I believe. This is the closest battle on track. It's the battle for 5th on track. As Kesbrud picks up another 3-second time penalty. Tafur closing in on TAC Delta, opening that rear wing to get less drag. Closing in, but isn't close enough. Can they keep it through the SS? Yes. Doesn't quite get the exit. TAC Delta had a bit of a better exit. So Tafur isn't quite close enough just yet. But if they can manage to stay around that half-a-second gap behind TAC Delta, that will certainly help them. Delta jumps around a bit. It seems to be losing a bit of time and has actually fallen out. Oh, does Tafur manage to get back within DRS? I think so. Let's see. It does open up, and Tafur is closing in rapidly, but isn't quite close enough just yet. But has a second chance, and is a lot closer this time, and goes for it, and pushes TAC Delta a bit wide, and Tafur has spun. Tafur touches with TAC Delta, pushes him a bit wide, but loses it. And TAC Delta goes winning out of that fight. But now Archigale has closed in on Rusty, as Roman numerals has lost it, or done it in the pits. And the car seems to go back on track, which is not fun. But here we go. The Alfa Romeos. Archigale gets ahead of Rusty. Or will Rusty get the exit? And not quite. Isn't quite close enough. And as you can see, the retired car is back on track. Hopefully that doesn't cause a safety car. With just 13 laps to go. Mr. Hex 3 seconds ahead of Ralle Hallonen. But Mr. Hex on 16 lap old softs against Ralle on the 16 lap mediums. Ralle's tires is a lot better, as we have the Ferrari going on a sightseeing tour. And Mr. Hex and the Raleigh goes into the pits. And now Archie and Rusty is 1-2. And even if the Aston Martins were here, I don't think they could defend it. But Mr. Hex and Raleigh puts on the medium tires with 12 laps to go. But now the Aston Martins, the Alfa Romeos is 1 and 2, 7 seconds clear of anything. But the question is, what can Mr. Hex do? Has closed in so much on Cyprian through here, has so much confidence. Oh, cuts that corner a little bit, but is ahead now and comes up to 4th place and already has 7 tenths. And Rusty goes into the pits. And that means Mr. Hex will be, as Archie picks up a 3-second time penalty, Mr. Hex goes up into 3rd place with that. And the food picks up 20 seconds worth of penalties. And now Cyprian and Rusty comes out on the soft compound of tires. And it's going to be very interesting to see Rusty chasing down Tafood. And Marky comes into the pits for soft tires as well. Rusty already within the DRS of Tafood. Has so much pace compared to Tafood, as the Chaos Druid picks up a 3-second time penalty. That won't affect it too much. Tafood has moved out of the way, but Rusty has the pace advantage and the DRS advantage and the tire advantage, and now is in P5. And I don't think Tafood is gonna be close enough. Nope, not at all. Rusty oil can goes purple in the first sector as well. Maybe can challenge Mr. Hex for that fastest lap. Archie Gill, 11 seconds clear of TAC Delta. Doesn't need to stop again. I'm 99.9% sure, but we have seen drivers losing it. But I'm not gonna jinx anyone. Rusty then 10 seconds behind Mr. Hex, or behind Raleigh. But can Rusty pick up that fastest lap of the race? Is burning that DRS and does get it, 109.5. Very nice indeed. As we see Mr. Hex closing in on TAC Delta. Rusty gets the fastest lap of the race. Oh, it closes up very much, and they give good space to each other. Oh, getting very close to each other. TAC Delta and Marky 109.0 Fastest lap of the race for the Red Bull driver, as the second Red Bull driver gets ahead of the AlphaTauri and Mr. Hex. 8 laps, 12 seconds. Oh, and they're weaving a lot on the straight, Mr. Hex. And Tac Delta can't quite get close enough. Tafur goes into the pits and gets a 5 second for speeding in the pit lane. Must be near disqualification now with at least 25 seconds worth of penalties. And I'm actually gonna have a look at the penalties. So currently Archegil 3 seconds, but that's not gonna matter as Mr. X also has 3 seconds. And Tafur retires in the pits. Understandable. But loses some points for Mercedes, which is a shame. Tac Delta has lost Mr. Hex now. Mr. Hex 11.5 seconds behind Archegil. 7 laps to go. Needs to catch by around 1.2 seconds a lap. And the Ferrari is back on track, which the drivers go around, but it's a distraction for them. Mr. Hex keep an eye on the gap. As we see Marky very close to Cheeseheads, both on the soft tires. Taku leaves the session, and Cheeseheads dives into the pits and Marky gets that. And Mr. Hex has caught by around 1 second, and that is not enough. 6 left to go, 10 seconds. Still need 1.2, 1.3 seconds a lap. It's 10.5 around the line. Nico Johan gets a 5 second time penalty. It is definitely a serious pace, but as you say, it's just not quite enough. Has caught half a second this lap, over half a second. Has taken 9 tenths, 9.6 seconds, 9 tenths from lap 31 to lap over lap 31. That is amazing pace, but unfortunately just not quite enough. A 100% race, and we would have a great finish on our hands. Hello Roman, welcome to the live stream of this incredible race. I saw you had quite a big incident there with a couple of drivers involved. Definitely waiting to see the point of views on that. Mr. X has taken a lot of time yet again. Raleigh getting close to Tuck. Tac Delta. And she has just cut across grass. Yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, we don't know what happened to these heads. We'll have to see every POV from that. I managed to catch it on the stream as well, from alright point of view. As the Ferrari has spun it. And Mr. Hex has taken 1.3 seconds on lap 33. Mr. Hex is certainly flying. Mr. Hex has taken around a second a lap. Some laps taking even more, and a couple of laps hasn't quite been enough. Just 3 laps to go, 6 seconds, needs to catch by 2 seconds a lap, and 2.1 seconds a lap. But it's just not enough laps. So racing 3.3 seconds a lap. I thought it was 2.3 seconds, but my math might be wrong. But as we start lap 35, it's 5.5 seconds. Two laps. Not even 3 seconds. Lap. I just wish Mr. Hex didn't have that 3-second time penalty now, because that would be an incredible. Just need 2.8 seconds a lap. Mr. Hex, I think, definitely can get very close, but I don't think it's gonna have enough to get past. But Archigil is just 3.4 seconds clear, 3.3 seconds, 3.2 seconds. It's going down very quick indeed. It's just 3 seconds separating Mr. Hex and Archigil. Mr. Hex needs to catch around 3 seconds overlap and get past Archigil. And Archigil is having trouble with a lap car. Marky holding up Mr. Hex. You can see him over the horizon. Just not even 2 seconds separating them. 1.6 seconds. Blue flags. I can hear Archigil screaming all the way here from Sweden. Marky doesn't get in the way of Mr. Hex. It's just 0.8 seconds. Half a second. And the Ferrari just gets out of the way. Mr. Hex, from well over 10 seconds back, finishes just 0.7 seconds behind. Archigil gets it done in the end. Wow! And Tech Delta gets within that 3 seconds, and Raleigh gets put down into 5th. Archigil and Rusty are Constructors champions. Wow! Mr. Hex, what a race. Alfa Romeo did a very good job, even though the Aston Martins aren't here today. Wow, what a race. What a race. If this doesn't bring in more people, I don't know what will, because that was amazing. Holy mac and cheese balls. Very well done to Archie Gill, but Mr. Hicks will feel hard done by, dominating basically the entire race and ending just 0.7 seconds after being a full pit stop behind. But Archie Gill in the Alfa Romeo takes the victory ahead of Mr. Hex. Tac Delta gets P3, Rusty P4, Ralle P5, Cyprian P6, Nico P7, Marky P8, Cheesehead P9, K-Strude P10, Tafur 11th, Roman 12th, Tarhils 13th, and Wild Baloo 14th. Fossil Slap goes to Marky in the Red Bull. Wow. That was an incredible race, and I wish everyone a good break and good luck for next season. I need to go to sleep, but I have been your host Jesper. I hope to see you guys again in the future. Have a good night and see you next season, boys.